Did you know that 75% of people experience anxiety when speaking in public? That's a staggering number. Yet many of us face this challenge daily, often without realizing we're making critical mistakes. Welcome to 6 mistakes to avoid in impromptu speaking. You might think impromptu speaking is just about quick thinking, but it's also about avoiding common pitfalls that can derail your message. In this video, we'll dive into strategies to keep you sharp and confident, even when you're put on the spot. From mental warm-ups to staying on point, we'll explore how to enhance your spontaneous speaking skills. Stick around to uncover these essential tips and transform your impromptu speaking game. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of our powerful strategies. Let's dive in and turn those speaking challenges into opportunities for success. Chapter 1. The Silent Killer. Ignoring mental warm-ups. Let's be honest, most of us skip the warm-up when we're thrown into impromptu speaking situations. But here's the deal. Not warming up your mind is like starting a marathon without stretching. You wouldn't do that, right? Even a quick mental warm-up can make a huge difference in your clarity and confidence. Studies show that taking just 60 seconds to focus your thoughts before speaking can reduce anxiety by up to 20%. That's a pretty big deal when you're about to be put on the spot. A simple trick is to do a quick mind sweep. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and clear your mind of any distractions. Focus on what you know about the topic at hand. Another powerful warm-up is visualization. Picture yourself speaking confidently, with your audience engaged and nodding along. This isn't just some feel-good exercise, it's backed by science. A study from the University of Washington found that speakers who visualized success were 32% more likely to deliver a strong performance. Don't underestimate the power of self-talk, either. It's easy to let negative thoughts creep in, especially when you're under pressure. But telling yourself, "I've got this," can be incredibly effective. Research has shown that positive self-talk can boost your performance by up to 30%. So, before you start speaking, take a moment to hype yourself up. It might just be the edge you need. Chapter 2. Word vomit. How to avoid filling the silence. We've all been there. Standing in front of people, the room goes quiet, and suddenly you're rambling just to fill the void. It's a natural reaction, but it's a mistake you can avoid with a bit of practice. Silence isn't your enemy. It's actually a powerful tool in communication. Think about it. When was the last time you heard a great speaker who was afraid of silence? Probably never. Pauses give your audience time to digest what you're saying. According to the Harvard Business Review, strategic pauses can increase the impact of your message by 22%. That's huge! So how do you avoid the word vomit? Start by becoming comfortable with silence. When you feel the urge to fill the gap with unnecessary words, stop yourself. Take a breath. Count to 3 in your head. This tiny pause gives you a moment to collect your thoughts and ensures that your next words carry more weight. Another strategy is to focus on your key points. Before you start speaking, mentally outline your main ideas. This can help you stay on track and avoid veering off into unnecessary tangents. And if you do find yourself rambling, don't panic. Just pause, take a deep breath, and steer the conversation back to your main points. Remember, less is often more when it comes to speaking. The fewer unnecessary words you use, the more your audience will hang on to every word you say. Chapter 3. The Overthinking Trap. Trusting your instincts. Overthinking can be a speaker's worst enemy. The more you second-guess yourself, the more likely you are to stumble over your words. And let's face it, there's nothing worse than getting in your own way. The trick is to trust your instincts and let your natural communication skills shine. It's important to remember that your first thought is often your best thought. In fact, research from the University of Chicago found that decisions made in a split second are often just as accurate as those that are carefully thought out. So when you're speaking off the cuff, trust your gut. One way to avoid overthinking is to practice speaking without a script. This might sound scary, but it's a great way to build confidence in your ability to think on your feet. Start by choosing a random topic and speaking about it for 2 minutes. The more you practice, the more comfortable you'll become with trusting your instincts. Another tip is to focus on your message rather than your words. When you're too focused on finding the perfect words, you're more likely to trip yourself up. Instead, concentrate on the message you want to convey. Your words will follow naturally. Finally, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Some of the best speeches are those that include a bit of imperfection. It makes you human, and your audience will appreciate your authenticity. So next time you're speaking, let go of the need to be perfect. Trust yourself and you'll be surprised at how well you do. Before we dive into the next chapter, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss the rest of these tips. Chapter 4. Lost in translation, staying on point. It's easy to get lost in your own thoughts when speaking off the cuff. Before you know it, you've drifted far from your original point, leaving your audience confused. The key to avoiding this common pitfall is to stay laser-focused on your main message. Think of your message as the North Star. It should guide everything you say. If you start to wander off course, gently steer yourself back. One effective technique is to use signposts. Phrases like, "The key takeaway here is," or "What's important to remember is." These little cues help you and your audience stay on track. Another tip is to limit yourself to 3 main points. Research shows that people can only hold 3 to 4 pieces of information in their short-term memory at once. So, instead of bombarding your audience with a dozen ideas, stick to the essentials. This makes your message clearer and more memorable. If you catch yourself rambling, don't worry. Simply pause, refocus on your main points, and continue. Your audience will appreciate the clarity. And remember, it's okay to admit if you've strayed. Saying something like, "Let's get back to the main point," shows self-awareness and keeps your audience engaged. In the book, Made to Stick, the authors talk about the importance of the curse of knowledge. When you know too much about a topic, it's easy to overwhelm your audience with details. Avoid this by simplifying your message. Focus on what's most important and cut out the fluff. Staying on point isn't just about being concise. It's about being intentional with your words. Every sentence should serve your main message. If it doesn't, it's probably best to leave it out. Chapter 5. The Confidence Conundrum, Faking It Until You Make It. Confidence can make or break your delivery. Even if you don't feel confident, you can project confidence by adopting a few key strategies. The old adage, "fake it until you make it," holds some truth here. Start with your body language. Studies have shown that adopting a power pose for just 2 minutes can boost your confidence levels. Stand tall, shoulders back, and take up space. This not only makes you feel more confident, but also signals to your audience that you're in control. Eye contact is another powerful tool. Direct eye contact can increase your connection with the audience and convey confidence. A study from the University of Wolverhampton found that speakers who maintain eye contact are perceived as more credible and confident. Voice modulation is also critical. Speak clearly and with purpose. Avoid rushing your words. A steady pace gives you time to think and shows that you're calm and composed. If you need a moment to gather your thoughts, don't be afraid to pause. It's better to take a breath than to rush through your speech. One more tip, embrace the nerves. Feeling nervous is normal, even for seasoned speakers. Instead of fighting it, channel that energy into your performance. The adrenaline can actually make you more alert and focused. Remember, your audience likely won't notice your nerves unless you point them out. If you're really struggling with confidence, try this tip from the book, The Confidence Code. Focus on your audience, not on yourself. Shift your mindset from "what do they think of me" to "how can I serve them?" This subtle change can make a big difference in how you feel and perform. Ultimately, confidence comes with practice. The more you put yourself in speaking situations, the more comfortable you'll become. But until then, it's perfectly fine to fake it a little. Chapter 6. Missing the Mark. Connecting with your audience. Connecting with your audience is the difference between a speech that resonates and one that falls flat. It's easy to miss this mark if you're too focused on your own performance. The secret? Make it about them, not you. Start by understanding your audience. What do they care about? What are their concerns? Tailoring your message to their interests can make a big impact. This might mean adjusting your language, tone, or even the content itself. One strategy is to engage your audience early. Ask a question or share a relatable story. According to the book, Talk Like TED, speakers who start with a story are more likely to capture and hold their audience's attention. Stories are powerful because they create an emotional connection. Another tip is to use inclusive language. Words like "we" and "us" create a sense of unity between you and your audience. It makes them feel like you're all in this together. This small change in phrasing can make your message more persuasive and relatable. Also, pay attention to feedback. Even in an impromptu setting, you can gauge your audience's reactions. Are they nodding along or do they look confused? Adjust your message accordingly. Flexibility is key to maintaining that connection. Humor can be a great way to connect, but use it wisely. A well-timed joke can lighten the mood and make you more relatable. Just be sure it's appropriate for your audience and the situation. Finally, end with a strong closing that ties everything back to your audience. Remind them why your message matters to them. This reinforces the connection and leaves a lasting impression. Thanks for sticking with me through these tips. If you found this helpful, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on more advice. There's plenty more to come.